Come in.
Em xin có năm bộ có một bộ nhưng một set năm.
Lớp 3, lớp 4, lớp 5 mất sư cô. So good afternoon, everyone. Now we can class our class today. Today is May 22nd, 2026, and we are in the Vinaya class. Now I would like to share the PowerPoint for the class today. So our session today is session 5. The topic is Nisaya, the relationship between teacher and student in the monastic code. This is a comprehensive guide to the rules, rituals, and reciprocal duties of apprenticeship in the Dhamma and Vinaya. So first of all, we see the challenge. The Dhamma and Vinaya impact in such detail on so many areas of one's life that no new bhikkhu or bhikkhuni can be expected to master them in a short time. You can see that only the Dhamma, the 5 Nikayas, and the Vinaya, we also had the 5 volumes of the Vinaya with so many details. So it is very difficult to master on this in a short time. That is why the Buddha finds the solution. It is the Nisaya. The Buddha arranged for a period of apprenticeship called Nisaya or dependence. Every newly ordained bhikkhuni must train under the guidance of an experienced bhikkhu or bhikkhuni, bhikkhu under bhikkhu and bhikkhuni under bhikkhuni. So for a bhikkhu, at least 5 years, and for the bhikkhuni, at least 2 years before she can be considered competent to look after herself. So you see that in this case, there are some cases when the Samaneri went to get ordination. But after the ordination, she doesn't stay with her Pavatini. She wanders around here and there without any training. Or she stays alone without any senior bhikkhunis. This is against the rule, because in the rule, every newly ordained bhikkhuni must be trained, must be dependent on the teacher. At least for 2 years. And we have 2 types of dependence. The first is preceptor, upachaya or pavatini, and the second is teacher or acharya. So you see that as a samanera or samaneri, when you get the papacha or 10 precept ordination ceremony, you have a teacher who gives you the 10 precept. So that teacher is called preceptor or upachaya. And in the upasampada, you have one preceptor. The name may be called upachaya or pavatini, and you have two other teachers. One, the two teachers at the ceremony who read the Kammavacha and who will also be responsible to teach you in the Dhamma and Vinaya later. So each of us have preceptor and teacher. And that is why here in the book of monastic code by Venerable Thanissaro, he used the term mentor. Mentor covers both preceptor, upachaya, and teacher, acharya, where patterns apply to both. And when it applies only to upachaya or only to acharya, the term will be defined very clearly. So now, first of all, is the very important stage, that is to choose, how to choose a mentor. And here, in the Vinaya, the Buddha described ideal and minimal qualifications for a teacher or a mentor. A mentor lacking minimal qualifications incurs a dukkata for acting as preceptor. And meeting minimal but lacking in the ideal incurs no penalty. So I think that we need to know about this also. Some bhikkhunis are ordained maybe after 12 years, even after 20 years. And you think that you are qualified enough because you are now more than 12 vasas. Now you can ordain bhikkhunis. But if you don't know the qualifications and you are not qualified enough, then it incurs a dukkata offense. So now we need to know the ideal qualification and the minimal qualification. So about the ideal qualifications, the teacher must have an arahant virtue, sila, concentration, samadhi, discernment, panya, release, vimutti, and knowledge and vision of release, vimutti, jnana, dasana, and also able to train another to this level. Apart from that, she possesses faith, sattva, shame, hiri, compassion, ottappa, persistence, khanti, and mindfulness, sati. Plus, she must be free of heavy or light offenses, anapati, and possesses of right view, samadhi. One more thing, she is competent to tend to a sick pupil and dispel dissatisfaction with celibate life. So you see that these ideal qualifications are very high standard. You see on the qualification enumerated here equals to an arahant. Sila, samadhi, panya, vimutti, jnana, dasana, sattva, hiri, ottappa, khanti, sati, anapati, samadhi. So maybe we would think that, oh, how can we satisfy all those qualifications? At least the Buddha also described only the minimal qualifications. So to be a teacher, I think that you please strip off your microphone when you come into the room. So first, that bhikkhuni should be learned and competent. It means he knows Dhamma and Vinaya to govern and knows offenses. She should know what is Parachika, what is Sanghadisesa, what is Pachittiya. We know which action will lead to which kind of offense. Then she must be competent to allay anxiety in line with Dhamma, knows heavy and light offenses, and removal. She needs to have detailed knowledge of both patimokkha's, able to train pupils in kantakas, vipangas, and higher dhamma and vinaya. She must be able to pry pupils away from wrong view. And basic requirement, ordained as a bhikkhuni for 12 years or more. And here, pupil is allowed 4 to 5 days to observe the conduct before taking dependence under a teacher. So when you know on this qualification, both the teachers and the students need to know, because you see that before your ordination, you need to find upachaya, a preceptor. So you need to come and stay near the bhikkhunis for a long time. And before the papacha, at least 4 or 5 days, you need to decide who will be your teacher, and then you will request her to be your preceptor. So, and also for the senior bhikkhunis, we also need to know which qualifications we should have to be a preceptor. So you see that we need to know Dhamma Vinaya, we need to know the heavy and light offenses and removal. We also need to know the Patimokkha, and also when the pupil has wrong view, we need to know how to help them to drive them away. And also, at least we need to have the 12 vasas. So these are the qualifications for the mentor. And now we go to the ritual of taking dependence. After you choose the teacher, now the step 1 is the posture. So the student will arrange a robe over the left shoulder and right shoulder bare, bow down to the preceptor, and kneel with hands palm to palm over the heart. Now step 2, requesting a preceptor, and repeat it 3 times. Upachaya me ayehohi, venerable lady, be my preceptor. Then step 3, valid responses, spoken or indicated by gesture. The teacher can say sadhu. Here, I think that here the spelling is wrong. Sadhu, not sahu. Sadhu means very well. Lahu, certainly. Opajikang, all right. Patirupang, it is proper. Or paksadikena sampadehi, attain consummation in the practice in an amicable way. So these are the answers or the responses by the preceptor when being asked to become a preceptor. And alternative, if you request a teacher post-ordination, because, and also the teacher means apart from your preceptor, sometimes the preceptors are so busy, or they cannot have time, or they don't have the conditions to teach you, then they can send you to another bhikkhuni who is very competent, who can help the or preceptor to teach you. Then you can come to that bhikkhuni and ask her to be your teacher, acharya. So the sentence to request a teacher is Acharya me ayye hohi ayasmati nisaya vachami. Venerable lady, be my teacher. I will leave independence on you. So these are the ritual of taking dependence. Now we go to the pupil's duties to her mentor. And this is the part 1. The pupil or the disciple should regard her mentor as a mother, and the mentor regard the pupil as her daughter. Sometimes you know that even in the case that the mentor is younger than the disciple in age. For example, in my temple, some of my disciples are older than me in age. Like now, I'm only 60 years old, but some of my disciples are 70 plus, 60 plus. But because they are disciples, and they also regard myself as a mother. So now we come to the first one, the pupil's duties. One is attending to personal needs. First, arrange toiletries for morning workshop. You see that in the ancient time, when the master get up, sometimes they have to go very far to take the water, because now, not in the modern time, now we don't need to carry the water from the stream, from the river, from the lake, from the tank. Maybe they carry on the bucket and put in one small bowl, so that and bring to the master so that they can wash up in the morning. So in the modern time, so this is not necessary anymore, because we have the lavatory, and then the teacher can help themselves. But in the ancient time, pupils should arrange the toiletries for the morning workshop for their mentors. The second, arrange seat or food for morning meal and cleanup. So this one should be done. Sit, for example, sit for the chanting, sit for the meditation. So you should get up early and you prepare the sit, the nisidana for the teacher before they come to the shrine home for the chanting or for the meditation, and also prepare for their meal. If, for example, if they need to have tea or milk or any kind of food in the morning, so the students should prepare for the teacher. And after that, clean up. Then the third, arrange ropes and bowl for arms round. Even though the teachers can do themselves, but the duties of the student is to bring the rope, the sangati, and bring the bowl to the teacher so that they can start for arms round. The fourth, follow on arms round if desired, and take ropes and bowl upon return. Because sometimes the teachers go out alone, and sometimes the students accompany the teachers on arms round. So if you accompany the teachers, you should follow her, and if she carries too heavy, you can help her to carry, and on the return, then you need to take her ropes and bowl to keep in a place, a proper place. Then the fifth, arrange seat and food for alms meal, and after that, clean up. This is for lunch. Then Number 6 or F, prepare bath or attend in sauna. Because I think that some mentors are old in age, and sometimes it's difficult for them to take care of themselves. So the students can help to prepare bath, prepare the water, prepare the on the stove and also on the ropes, so that it make it easy for the teacher when they need to take a bath. Then study Dhamma and Vinaya. Here you can see that this responsibility is very important, not only to attend on the teacher, but need to study the Dhamma and the Vinaya. And in the ancient time, studying include two parts. The first part is recitation, just read and read again and again. And the second part is interrogation. You need to put the questions to the teacher so that they can answer on your inquiry, and also the teachers can also ask the counter questions to the students to make sure they understand the topic. Next one is clean the dwelling, restroom, and storage rooms. Cleaning is very important. Cleaning not only your own room, but also clean your teacher's room and restroom and storage rooms. Because, you know, sometimes the young Pikunis can say that why everything must be done by me and not by my teachers. So this, you should know that this is the training, and it is only 2 years. And because you are very new, and you should be trained so that you know what everything before you can take care of yourself properly, and also you can teach your students later. And also to show the gratitude and respect to the teachers. When you repay to the teachers, at the same time, you can also make merits when you attend on the teachers. So these are the rule on the duties belong to the first part, attending to personal needs. And now the second part, assisting in problems regarding Dhamma and Vinaya. So the students can allay dissatisfaction, dispel anxiety over rules, or pry away from wrong views for the teachers, or find someone who can or give a Dhamma talk. You know, because sometimes the teachers are not very well educated, and they are not very well learned in the Dhamma and Vinaya, and sometimes they have also some doubt or some kinds of dissatisfaction, some kinds of anxiety over rules, some kinds of wrong views even. So if the students know about these masters, then they need to help the teachers if they are able. Otherwise, they need to find someone who can help the teacher to solve on these problems. And then help arrange penance, probation, rehabilitation for a Sanghadisesa offense. If the teacher committed Sanghadisesa, then the students can help her, because you see that it's not easy to arrange on these kinds of penance or probation or rehabilitation, because it needs the presence of at least 12 bhikkhus and 20 bhikkhus and 20 bhikkhunis. And in this case, the students can help the teachers in the arrangement for the Sangha ceremony to make them according to the rules, to the Vinaya. And the next duty is to try to dissuade or lessen severity of community transactions against the mentor. You see, sometimes the mentor makes something wrong, some error, some mistakes. The community or even the lay community is against the teachers. So the duty of the disciples is to persuade the community or lay or monastic to lessen the severity of the teacher. Help the teachers to get the lighter punishment, if possible. And the third part is ropes. The pupil help the teachers in washing, making, and dyeing the ropes. You see, sometimes until now, so the students need to learn how to wash, how to make, and how to dye the ropes, to do it for herself and also to help the mentors. And the next one is showing loyalty and respect. First is neither give or receive gifts nor services to or from others, those on bad terms with the mentor, without mentor's permission. So you see that sometimes your teachers are in a very important position, and sometimes lay community or even monastic community, there are some members, they would like to give gifts or to give service with some wrong purposes. And if you don't know the reason, but you accept it, you may create problems to the teachers. That is why here it is said that neither give or receive gifts nor services to or from others without mentor's permission. The second is obtain permission before entering a village, go into cemetery to meditate, or live in the district. You see that in the ancient time, you need to ask permission from the teacher to go out either to the village or to the cemetery. And now in the modern time, you also need to ask permission every time you go out of the temple, out of the nunnery. Even if you go to the market, you go to the people's house, you go to do some errands. But once you go out of the nunnery, you need to ask permission. And if refused, ask up to 2 more times, maximum 3 times. If still refused, pupil may reflect and leave if staying does not help education and meditation. Sometimes you ask the teachers to go to a proper place to have education or meditation, but if the mentors refuse so many times and she herself does not teach anything, then you can reflect about leaving, because in the rule the Buddha also said that you can leave after asking permission for 3 times. And the last one is caring for the mentor when ill. not leaving her until she either recovers or passes away. This is very important because our mentor is I like our mother, and we are grateful to her because our parents only give us our body, but the master, the mentors, give us wisdom, give us the Dhamma knowledge, and make us become a monastics, a bhikkhuni. So we should never leave the teacher when she is sick, and we need to be with her until she either recovers or passes away. Now we have exemptions. Pupil is freed from duties when ill, because when you are ill, you cannot do anything. You cannot take care of the teachers. If mentor has another pupil doing duties, remaining pupils may be exempted. So, for example, in my temple, I have about 50 students, but I appoint only one bhikkhuni to be my personal attendant. And so the other bhikkhunis and samaneris are exempted from these duties. But I need to inform them that you don't need to do, you just do your work and you study. Or if the mentor do not inform, then the performing pupil must take responsibility. That it means that the performing pupil, the personal attendant, will inform the other students so that they don't need to worry. And otherwise, they incur a dukkata for every neglected duty. Because if the teachers do not inform, even the personal attendant does not inform, but the other students do not take care of the teachers, then they incur a dukkata. Now we go to the mentor's duties to her pupil. Here we have the first one, furthering the pupil's education. Teaching Dhamma and Vinaya through recitation, interrogation, exhortation, and instruction. This is very, very important because being a teacher, teaching is the most crucial duty. Without teaching Dhamma and Vinaya to the students, they cannot improve in their practice. The second is providing requisites, making up the lack if the pupil lacks basic requisites and the mentor has spares. Sometimes you see that I saw in some cases the teacher has so many requisites because usually the mentors are more famous, more well-known, more respected. So many people come and offer to the mentor herself, and it is her own belonging. And the young bhikkhunis, because they are quite new and not famous yet, not many people know them, so very few offering is made to the young bhikkhunis. Then there is like a gap between the teachers who have abundant practices, while the students had nearly nothing. So the teachers must share the requisites to the students. So in most of the temples and the nunneries in the Theravada tradition, we don't keep the properties as private or personal. Everything on the requisites we put together in the storage, and those who need can come and receive from the treasurer. So I think that this is a good way that we don't accumulate for ourselves, but we share for everyone in the community. The third one is attending to personal needs when ill. the teacher need to perform the exact services that the pupil normally performs for the mentor. So when the teachers are sick, the pupil will take care, like bring the food and cook some special food to the teacher. And when the pupil is sick, the teachers also must do the same thing. Not say that, oh, she must take care of me because she is my disciple. How should I am a teacher? Then I have to take care of them, of her. This is not a proper question because we live in a community. We are interdependent. So one of the mentor's duties is to attend to the students when they are sick. The fourth is assisting in Dhamma and Vinaya problems, performing the services mentioned under the pupil's problem-solving duties. So, of course, after you teach them, when they have some problems in understanding the Dhamma and Vinaya, then the teacher must help. Whenever they have a question, we need to satisfy them, to explain to them so that they can understand clearly and exactly so that they can practice properly. The number 5 is ropes. The teacher need to teach the pupil how to wash, make, and dye ropes, or find a way to get task done if the pupil is unable. So when when a young bhikkhuni, the new bhikkhunis come to the temple, they nearly know anything. So the teachers must teach them. And everything concerning the ropes, how to wash, how to make, and how to dye. The number 6 is caring for the pupil when she falls ill, not leaving her until she either recovers or passes away. And now we have the 4 types of teachers and lifelong duties. So here you see we have lifelong duties. Lifelong. So from session 1 to 3, observe as long as both parties are aligned and ordained. So you see that we have go-in-forth teacher who gives the 10 precepts during ordination, upachaya. The second is a substance teacher who chants the motion and proclamation during the ceremony. So we see that here we have the Pavatini and the 2 Kamma Vachacharini. So they are your lifelong teachers and you have lifelong duties toward them. Now we also have the temporary duties, only observed as long as living in dependence with them. Then we have dependence teacher, the one with whom one lives in dependence. For example, you go to your temple is in Nagpur, but you need to go to Mumbai to study. Maybe you study at Mumbai University, and then your teacher send you to another nunnery in Mumbai.
เขามี AI ที่แบบว่า
Venerable Thammavichani, can you switch off your microphone?
ปิดกล้องก่อน mute
Maybe the admin, please help me to mute. So you see, I'm explaining about the dependence teacher, Nisaya teacher. You already have your preceptor, but when you go to another place, another city, you need to stay in one temple for about some years, 4 years, 5 years, then you need to take nisaya, dependence on a bhikkhuni. So during the time you stay there, you have to perform the duties towards the teachers. But when you leave her and go back to your upachaya, your preceptor, then you don't have to perform these duties towards that dependent teacher anymore. So dependent teacher only temporary. Also, Dhamma teacher, who teaches the Pali language and canon. So when you are with them, when you are studying with them, then you have the duties to them. But when the subject is finished, when the course is finished, then you don't have that duties. Even though if you respect them, you love them, you are grateful to them, you can do the duties. But this is not compulsory. And we should have a note here that not all communities follow this commentary point regarding lifelong duties for preceptor, going forth, and acceptance teachers. Now we go to the grounds and means of dismissal. If the pupil does not observe her duties, the mentor incurs a dukkata if she does not dismiss her, just as she would for dismissing a pupil who doesn't deserve it. Mentor must correct her own conduct before dismissing. So you see what does dismissal mean? You see that sometimes a student do not behave well to the teachers. They do not serve the teachers. They not pay respect to the teacher. So in this case, the mentor can dismiss, can drive her away. But before she dismissed the students, she needs to look back to her own conduct. Because before we condemn anyone, we need to see that whether we are good or not, we deserve or not. If the teachers do not perform the duties toward the students, and then how can she condemn the students who do not perform the duties to her? So that is why here we say that mentor must correct her own conduct before dismissing. Now we have the 5 grounds for dismissal. It means that dismissal of the teachers towards the students. First, no affection. It means that the students shows no kindness to the teacher. You see, sometimes I can see some students, they do not have any kindness, any love towards the teacher. Even in some bad cases, they consult that some kinds of hatred, some kind of lack of respect, lack of love, lack of care towards a teacher. The second is no faith. It means that the student does not regard the mentor as an example. The third case is no shame. They openly disregard the rules, even in the mentor's presence. And no respect. She does not listen and openly disobeys the teachers. And the fifth, not developing in goodwill, education, or practice. So you see that these are the 5 grounds for dismissal. So sometimes we can see that maybe the student have only 1 or 2, then it is still okay. For example, they don't have affection, but at least they have shame, they have respect, and they are developing then it is also tolerate. He can speak it can be accepted. But if they committed all on these 5 grounds, then she will be dismissed. And then the valid statements for dismissal. The teacher may say, I dismiss you, or don't come back here, or take away your robes and bowl, or she say, don't attend to me. Or sometimes by equivalent gestures, like evicting the pupil and throwing her robes and bowl out. In this case, sometimes we also need to, we can say that to investigate ourselves. Sometimes we have to check ourselves whether we have affection, we have faith, we have shame, we have respect, and we have development or not. Because looking back ourselves like in a mirror is very important to make progress in the practice and to make sure the teachers are not dissatisfied with us. And now we have the apology and forgiveness post-dismissal. You see that even though you made mistakes and you were dismissed by the teacher, but it can be repaired. You can apologize. So that is why we have some steps here. Step 1, the duty to apologize. Once dismissed, the pupil must apologize. Even though you are angry when you are dismissed, but every time when you are dismissed by the teachers, the first thing to do is that you must apologize. If you do not do, you incur a dukkata. And then step 2, the duty to forgive. The duty of the students is to apologize, and the duty of the teacher is to forgive. Once apologized, the mentor must forgive. Then step 3, evaluating conscientiousness. If pupil is still unconscientious, mentor incurs a dukkata for taking her back. You see, when we forgive only on the condition that the student, they apologize frankly, it means that they recognize their mistake and they have a good attitude. They have the effort to repair, to make progress. On the contrary, mentor may inflict non-physical punishment. For example, a waiting period to observe behavior to test sincerity. Because when the students apologize, we don't forgive immediately, but we have a time for them to be checked whether they are sincere enough. And sometimes they need to have some kinds of punishment, but here it is said non-physical punishment. And step 4, alternative recourse, if forgiveness is refused. So if after you've asked for the forgiveness, but the teachers refuse to forgive, then we can either ask other bhikkhunis in the monastery to intercede, or stay at another monastery, take dependence under a senior bhikkhuni on congenial terms with the mentor. You see, because sometimes when the teachers are angry, and if the students continue to say something, it is very difficult for the teachers to listen. But if she can ask someone else, the teacher's friends or the other bhikkhunis in the temple, and ask them to intercede, to say something good about you, so that the teacher can feel that it's easier for them to forgive you. Or you can, if and still the teachers do not forgive, then you can return to original monastery and take dependence under another teacher. Because when your teacher does not accept you anymore, then you need to find another dependence teacher to be trained under her, not to stay without a teacher. And when dependence lapses, the rule contest is a pupil must find a new mentor on the very day dependence lapses, unless the mentor promises to return in a day or two, or 4 or 5 days are needed to observe a stranger. So first are the lapses with a preceptor. For example, the preceptor leaves the temple or moves from the monastery, or spends a night outside, or she disrobes, or she dies, or she goes over to another side, means she joins another religion, or she gives a command, dismissal, or telling the pupil she is released. So it means that in this case, the teacher is no more a nisaya, a dependence for you. Now let's with a teacher. All 5 above, blessed, the pupil rejoice her preceptor. You see, teacher here means dependence teacher. The original dependence overrides teacher dependence. Original dependence means your preceptor, and teacher dependence is the teacher you take dependence while you are far away from your preceptor. You move to another city, you move to another temple for your study, then you don't have your preceptor, then you have to be dependent on a dependence teacher. But once when you meet, when you are staying with your dependent teacher, if you meet your preceptor, you recognize her voice, or when you pass on the street, then automatically you reinstate preceptor dependence. And then you don't have dependence on that dependence teacher anymore. Though the communities differ on this interpretation. So these things describe the state when you don't have the nisaya anymore. And here are the temporary exemption from dependence. This is allowed not to take dependence if no qualified bhikkhunis is available in these 4 situations. For example, on a journey, passing on a monastery with a mentor doesn't count as available. If spending a week at a new place, she must take dependence unless the senior bhikkhunis waives it. Here, you mean on the journey mean, you see, because a young bhikkhuni under 2 vasa, on the time, we need to have a dependence teacher. But if you are on a journey, then you cannot find, you are allowed not to take dependence. And because at that time no bhikkhunis are there. And here when they say that when you pass a monastery, and inside that monastery there is a mentor, it doesn't mean that they can be available for you, because you don't stay in that. You just stop for a while and then you continue on your journey. But if you spend a week, not only some hours or a day, but a week at a new place, then you need to take dependence. Unless when the senior bhikkhuni waive it, it means that she said, no need, you don't need to do it. Then it's okay. The second is ill. When you are ill, you can be exempted, or when you care for an ill person who requests for your health, then you cannot be with your independent teacher, or living alone in the wilderness. When you meditate, when you are meditating comfortably in tranquility or inside, your samatha and vipassana going smoothly, then you can stay and meditate alone without dependent teacher. And this applies only to tender stage meditation, not noble attainments. And you must find a mentor 1 month before the rains residence or the fasa. And we come to the next part, release from dependence. The ultimate rule is the bhikkhuni will be released after being ordained for 2 years on the condition that she is experienced and competent. If never competent, she must remain independent for life, even under a competent junior if necessary. Once released, pupil no longer performs session 4 and 5 of pupil duties. So you see, this rule is very, very important. The first rule say that you are, after being ordained for 2 years, you can leave your teachers and you can go here and there, you stay everywhere. But here, it must be on the condition that you are experienced and competent. You know the Dhamma, you know the Vinaya, you know the Kammavacha, you know the rules, you know the Sangha Kamma. You know everything to deal with. But if you are never competent, you must remain independent for life. You cannot stay alone if you don't know the Vinaya, you don't know the rule, you don't know the apatti. Or even under a competent junior, if necessary. Some bhikkhunis are junior, they get ordained after you, but they are competent. They know the Dhamma, they know the Vinaya, they know on the Sangha Kamma. Then you need to be under them to learn. And now we have ideal qualifications for release and minimal qualifications for release. So the ideal is the students have arahant's virtue, concentration, discernment, release, and knowledge of release. You see that these are the same qualifications of the teachers and of the preceptors. You remember? Sila, Samadhi, Panya, Vimutti, Jnanadasana, also faith, shame, compulsion, persistence, and mindfulness, sattva, hiri, ottappa, khanti, sati, and also free of offenses and possess right will, anapati, and samadhi. These are the ideal qualification for release. It means that after 2 years of training, if you get these virtues, it is ideal and you are certain to be released. You are not dependent on the teachers anymore. and at least minimal qualification. You are ordained at least 2 years. You are learned and intelligent. You know Patimokkha, understand what is and isn't an offense, heavy or light offenses, and how an offense is removed. And now, when we say learned, what does it mean? The definition of learned and return to dependence. So, definition of learned. These are the commentary to the PC 21. Memorize both Patimokkha and the four Panavaras. You see that because why we say learned here, I have to return to explain to you, because if you want to be released from the teachers, you must be learned and intelligent. So how to define that a bhikkhuni is learned or not? So this is the definition. At least you memorize both the Patimokkha, memorize, both Patimokkha and the four Bharana. The four Bhanavara means on the sutras that we chant in the morning and in the afternoon, chanting in the temples, like the Karaniya Metta Sutta, Mangala Sutta, Ratana Sutta, then the Paticca Samuppada, etc. So you may learn by heart this kind of chanting. And also memorize a discourse helpful for sermon giving. You need to know how to give a discourse when people come to the temple. Then memorize 3 Anumodana chant after meal, or in the auspicious ceremonies, or in the death ceremonies. At least you know how to chant in Pali. And also knows rules for the community transaction. For example, the Patimokkha recitation or invitation, Pavarana, after the Vassavasa. So if you know all these things, then you can be released. And then return to dependence. Demotion, dependence, transaction. Forced return if conduct quarrels it, and the community is fed up with granting probation or penance. It means that even though sometimes the bhikkhunis are senior in Vassa, but she needs to return to dependence. If she has some factors like this, she is ignorant and inexperienced. She is indiscriminately full of offenses, or she lives in unbecoming association with lay people. So we can see that there are some cases of some bhikkhunis, even though they are very senior in years in Vassa, but she is ignorant and inexperienced, do not learn anything, cannot even recite the Patimokkha, cannot recite the chanting, do not know any, what is Parachika, what is Sangha Disesa. And sometimes they have unbecoming association with lay people. So they are forced to return to dependence. It means that they have to come and stay under a senior and experienced bhikkhuni to be trained again. And now we come to the conclusion. We have the eternal bond, like mother and daughter in the Dhamma. Regardless of whether a pupil is under dependence or released from it, she is still expected to observe certain duties to her preceptor, and her preceptor certain duties to her, as long as both are alive and ordained. So you see that now you are more than 20 Vassa or 30 Vassa, and now you have your own temples, you have your own disciples. But still, if your teacher is still alive, then you still have the duties towards her. and they are always to regard each other as mother and daughter. The preceptor is to take a continuing interest in her pupil's welfare, and the pupil is to show her continuing gratitude for the initiation her preceptor has given her into the bhikkhuni's life. You see that the preceptor also, even though now the disciple is grown up, developed, and they also have her own temples, her own disciples. But the preceptor is like a mother. She still keeps the continuing interest and also care for their welfare and help them whenever they need. This is called the eternal bond, like mother and daughter in the Dharma. So that is the end of our class today, and we have some time for the discussion. If you need any, if you have any questions, so please do not hesitate to ask me. Or you can give some cases in your temple about the preceptors or the dependence teacher. They do not do their duty, or you cannot find a dependence teacher. Now you have to stay alone, etc. And we can together consider the case and find the solution.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, Aye. Thank you so much for teaching us the relation between the teacher and the student. I can see that this is a very critical situation in India because we don't have proper training centers. So most of the teachers, they just they just give ordination to seminaries and they just leave them. And the seminaries, they live on their own. Whatever they learn something from books, so they follow that. They don't have much information. And even the teachers don't have that much information because they also lived the same way in the past. Uh, I want to know about my case. Like, I was ordained in Buddhachatu Parisa. And as last time, Venerable Dhammavijani guided me about my Upsampada, I explained my Upsampada to Venerable Tathaloka also. And Venerable Tathaloka gave me some references that whatever has done the Upsampada, the way I had got Upsampada is correct. But if there is a question about my Pavatini, Venerable Pathamaloka. So, because Venerable Dhammavijani said that she also was not ordained properly. So, in that case, what should I do? And my second question is that my teacher is connected to a group, and that group is run by some lay devotees. So, now because I am working in a different way, even I don't have any contact with my teacher directly because she cannot understand English. So I have to go through some lay devotees, and they don't allow me to speak to her directly, or even they don't allow me to come to their monastery to stay with her or to pay respect to her. So what should I do in that case?
I think that now you are 5 vasa already, right?
Yes, I 6 already. Yeah.
6 vasas already, and they are far. They are staying far from you. So in the case you cannot keep in touch with your preceptors, then you can take dependence on an experience and learn a bhikkhuni. Because you can say that in our lecture, I also said that when you cannot stay with your preceptor, you can stay with your dependence teacher. Because I know that in Nagpur there are also some senior bhikkhunis, and you can also take the Nisaya with the senior bhikkhuni. At least you can learn something from them, or you can ask for the advice from those senior bhikkhunis.
Yes, Ayye.
And about the first question, can you explain again what is your first question?
The last time that we discussed in our UTBSI meeting about my Upsampada, and the main question arises there that my Pavatini, my Patmaloka Bhikkhuni Patmaloka, my Pavatini. So according to Venerable Dhamma Vijayani, that she was also not properly ordained. So how can she ordain other students? It was a question. So all other question I cleared out, I sorted out with Venerable Tathaloka also, but this was the question. So she said that it's her duty, it's her fault if Venerable Patmaloka, if she was not properly ordained, not yours, if they are ordaining you.
Yeah, so I agree with Venerable Tathaloka that we cannot solve your preceptor's problem.
Yeah.
So in your ordination ceremony, so she is appointed as Pavatini, and then on the Kamavacha, if on the Kamavacha is is made in a proper manner according to the Pali Vinaya, then it is achieved, it is fulfilled. And then I think that in some cases, sometimes the preceptors, they have some problem with their own ordination, or they have problems with their apathy, offenses. So some people said that, then the ordination is not fulfilled because the teachers is not pure. So in those cases, in Myanmar tradition and also in Sri Lanka tradition, they have the Danha Kamavacha, confirmation. Confirmation, just when we have another Bhikkhuni Upasampada, you just come under the those bhikkhus and bhikkhunis teacher, and you ask for the confirmation. So with that confirmation, it can repair those the lacking in your original ordination. That is what I knew about in my experience.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Yes, as we are planning already about the Upsampada in India, so whenever we will have the program, I will do the Dalhikamma. And I request you, if you have some text about the Dalhikamma in detail, so please share it with me. I would like to read it.
Okay.
Just a
Yes, please unmute yourself.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, Venerable, this is not to do with the class. I just have to leave the session now because I got some people here. All I wanted to ask was from the participants, can I do my Monday class on Tuesday? I got something to attend on Monday, so can I conduct on Tuesday? Because everyone is there. If you can't answer now, that's fine, Venerable Lupap. Can you find it from them and just text me?
Okay, Venerable.
I will set up a poll.
Yeah, we will make a poll, and then you can see that whether is it possible.
Yes, I will set a poll,
Okay.
and we will get the
Thank
answer
you.
by the.
Yeah, except the Monday, I can do Tuesday, Wednesday, I got a Zoom meeting, but I think I can adjust. So I can do it on Tuesday is the preferable day. Yeah. Let's see
Okay.
how. All right. Thank
Okay.
you. Thank
Thank
you.
you,
I
Ayya.
must leave now. Thank you, Venerable Ariel Lupa.
And I think that we should also inform Venerable Santini and Venerable Dhammavichani that the first part is going to be finished because next week is
Yes.
my last session.
Yes, and my last session too next week. Yeah.
Yes. Mhm.
Yes. All right. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank
Okay,
you.
Venerables, I'm leaving. Thank
Okay.
you. May you all be well and happy. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye bye.
So is there anyone who would like to ask questions about the teachings of Venerable Liu Fa? If you would like to ask, please unmute yourself.
I saw one question here from Sejale Kusalachari. She
Yeah.
asked that Venerable, when taking the Upasampada, do we still follow the Papacha teacher for life in addition to Upasampada teachers, or only have to follow the Upasampada teachers? Here we between the two teachers, Papacha teachers and Upasampada teacher, if you have the same for both Papacha and Upasampada, it doesn't matter. It doesn't become a matter. But when Papacha teacher is different and Upasampada teacher is different, then Upasampada teachers usually more important. But I think that in some cases, Upasampada teachers are not in your country. For example, Sri Lankan Bhikkhunis, Sri Lankan Samaneris, and Sikkamanas usually, Thai, and before that Vietnamese Bhikkhu Samaneris, we have to go to Sri Lanka or to India to get ordained. So our Upasampada teachers usually are foreigners and they stay in another country. Then you come back, you don't have the Upasampada teacher. And usually for some Sayale, for some Messi, the teachers, the Papacha teacher is a monk, because usually you become a nun under a bhikkhu. For example, I also have the Papacha teacher as a monk. My master is a Mahathero. He is my Papacha teacher. And my Upasampada teacher is from Korea. I consider both as my lifelong teachers. They are both very important. But I think that the local teachers are more important because we can be close to them, we can learn from them. So if you don't have the native teachers, you don't have native Papacha teacher, you don't have native Upasampada teachers, then you need to have a native Nisaya teacher, dependence teachers. I think that we don't need to say that we should follow or not. It is we don't need so of course that if you are now a bhikkhuni, you don't follow them for life. We don't use the term follow. We only use the term to have the duty, and the duties. The duties, usually most of the duties can only be done when we stay with them. For taking care of the ropes, the bows, the food, etc. And the other are only the teaching Dhamma and Vinaya, and also help the teacher to overcome their anxiety in the Dhamma, Vinaya, etc. So I think that if we cannot stay with the Upasampada and the Papacha teacher, and at least we can have some spiritual responsibilities towards our teachers. And if it is spiritual, then we don't need to differentiate between Upasampada or Papacha or Nisaya, because they are all very important in our life. The first teacher, the second teacher, the third teachers, but all are our benefactor. They make us a monastic. They make us a bhikkhuni. They make us a Dhamma practitioner. So I think that we shouldn't use the term follow here. We use the term that we have the responsibility to them, if not physical, then spiritual. And for me, no differentiation. And we can do it. This is my answer. Another question. Can Bhikkhuni under 12 Vasa be a papacha teacher? For papacha teacher, I usually it is not required 12 Vasa. In some cases, because in the Vinaya, it is said that it requires 12 Vasa to give ordination to a Bhikkhuni, not to a Samaneri. And they don't mention how many Vasa to become a papacha teacher. But in practice, I saw in Thailand, in Sri Lanka, and in Vietnam, usually the minimum is 5 Vasa before we can become a papacha teacher to give the Samaneri ordination to ladies. So I also would like to hear from other traditions in your experience. But as far as I know, to be a papacha teacher, the requirement is only 5 Vasa, not the 12 Vasa. Any comments?
Yes, Bhikkhuni Liu Fab, I could like to ask you. Yes, because when I was ordained and I make in the Upasampada in Sri Lanka, so my papacha and the teacher, the Upasampada, is not it's not here in the Western people. So the teacher, I asked the bhikkhu in the local bhikkhu. So yeah, there is also the problem for the papacha because the papacha teacher, she doesn't speak properly English, so difficult to communicate with her. And the Upasampada teacher is a bhikkhu, so that yes, I could like to ask you in my case. Yeah, but I try to study myself. Now I am following in the Buddhist study in the Sri Lanka for the bachelor, and yeah, I try to keep the Vinaya here, even though I learned I don't contact with too much. Sometimes I consider I'm living here as the forest, because I'm living far from the city. I'm living in the village, small village in the western. So I don't contact too much with the teacher. If I have some problem, yes, I will ask some local bhikkhu here. So what do you can you give me some advice for some teacher here?
How many Vasa are you?
For Vasa.
And who you said that your Upasampada teacher is a bhikkhu?
Yes,
You don't have a Bhikkhuni Upasampada teacher?
Maybe, yeah, I confused. Maybe the Bhikkhuni, yeah, you know, I think you know, in the Colombo, she's, yeah, we have, but I we have, but I don't have a contact with her because the Papacha, she just introduced for us. Okay, this is the Upasampada teacher, her. So we know her face, and that's all. And I know she is well known, but after that, I did, yeah, I haven't have the contact with her. But maybe the later I will find her later. I don't know. She is, yeah.
So do you have, then you cannot contact with your preceptor. So do you contact with your Kammavacha Charini?
Yeah, but she
Yeah.
doesn't speak English in proper way, so difficult.
All the three teachers do not speak English, right?
I mean the Upasampada teacher. She is
Okay.
well known. Yeah, she's
But
well
she
known.
doesn't speak English. Okay. So in this case, do you have any teacher, monastic teachers?
I don't have the monastic teacher, as I told you. If I have some local bhikkhu here, yeah. But if I contact, I only contact by phone, by telephone. Yes, and because I'm living far from his monastery, and sometimes if his monastery have some ceremony like like the Vesak, and he invited me to participate this ceremony.
Okay, so I think that, but at least even though you don't stay near to him, but at least you can learn something from him.
Yeah.
You can ask any questions when you need, and he will be ready to help you anytime. So I think that even though you don't request him to be your Nisaya teacher, but he is considered as your Nisaya or dependence teacher, right?
Yes, I think so. Yeah, I can ask him any questions. So yeah, but
So I
I
think
cannot.
that is good enough because at least you need to have a teacher to be dependent on and to learn and to be trained under him or her. So I think that in this case it is okay.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Sadhu. And let me see. I saw one question here. The question is from Sattha Nimitta. What are the best explanations if being asked why a newly ordained bhikkhuni required to stay with the teacher for at least 2 years, and for a newly ordained bhikkhu, it requires up to 5 years to stay under the teacher guidance? I think that it is because the bhikkhuni they have 2 years at the Sikhamana at least before she is fully ordained. So totally she has 4 years, not only 2 years. Because for the men, for men, when they in the time of the Buddha, if they listen to the Dhamma and they ask the Buddha, please accept me into the Sangha, he say, okay, then immediately he becomes a monk without any time for training before. Like in the case of Bhikkhuni, you must be a Sikhamana for at least 2 years before you can be fully ordained as a Bhikkhuni. So that is why after ordination, since it's only 2 years more, I think that is the reason. And If I read somewhere else and some other reasons, I will tell you later. But at least I think that it is reasonable. So if there is no more question, then we can end our session today. It's 3:30 in Vietnam. It means that because our class is from 2 to 3:30 Vietnam time, or in Indian time 12:30 to 2 o'clock. So before we end our session, I saw one question from Bhikkhuni Dhammadina. How many minimum Bhikkhuni and Bhikkhu need for Upasampada? So the answer is, if in India, the minimum is 10. But in the remote India, remote places, when they cannot find easily the number of Bhikkhu and Bhikkhunis, then the minimum will be 5 only. 5, because so that when one who read the Kama Vacha, when they say Suna Tume Pante Sangho, must be at least a Sangho there, a Sangha there, and a Sangha is 4, and plus the one who read the Kama Vacha, that is 1 is 5. So the minimum is 5 in the remote area, and the minimum is 10 in the central area where you can find, especially in India, mainland, when you can find easily many bhikkhus and bhikkhunis. That is the answer. And now we end our session today, and we share the merit to all the living beings. And I wish you to be well, peaceful, and you make progress in your Dhamma practice. Idang no nya tinang hotu sukhita huntu nya tayu. Idang no nya tinang hotu sukhita huntu nya tayu. Idang no nya tinang hotu sukhita huntu nya tayu. Idang vatame punyang asavakaya bahang hotu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And for your information, I would like to inform you that now we are preparing for the Bhikkhuni ordination in Vietnam, which will be organized tomorrow. Tomorrow, 23rd, there will be the ordination with the Bhikkhuni Sangha, and the day after tomorrow, 24th, will be ordination with the Bhikkhu Sangha. And now I'm in Hue City, in Huyền Không Temple, and we have the 7 Thai Bhikkhunis are with us now. And this time we have Venerable Sudamika and Venerable Tamakamala will be the Kamavachacharini, and from Vietnam we also have Venerable Tamananda and Venerable Tamapali that Kamavachacharini. Myself and Venerable Tamapali will be the preceptors for 14 Bhikkhuni candidates. And in the morning, the candidates already have the examination on the Dhamma and Vinaya. And this afternoon, they have the rehearsal. And because I'm busy with this class, so I let them practice with Venerable Pali and Venerable Tamananda. Then after this class, and I will go to the Shrine Hall to train with them for the rehearsal. And we will share the pictures on my Facebook so that you can rejoice with us. And this is the second Theravada Bhikkhuni Upasampada ordination in Vietnam. And we are very happy, and we are also happy that Thai Bhikkhunis come here and rejoice us and assist us in making this ceremony successful. And And see you again next week on Thursday afternoon. And after that, Venerable Dhamma Vichani will continue to teach you until we finish this class in a month. So thank you and bye bye. See you.
Sadhu, sadhu,
Sadhu,
sadhu.
thank you very much.